Hi, my name is Jenn and I am the director of EIU Chi-Alpha here at Eastern Illinois University. I'm also a mom and a wife and a mom to many international students here on campus. Mark had a vision that we were supposed to go to South Africa. I, in my mind, had pictured being in Africa for my lifetime. Due to his lung disease that he has, we had to come back early from Africa. It was probably one of the hardest times in my life is coming back, because you think that God sent you somewhere and then all of a sudden you come back to the place where I grew up, and I just never thought I would be back here. I was angry, I was frustrated, I was sad. We decided to get involved in Chi-Alpha. My heart really wasn't in it when we were coming back into Chi-Alpha, and I just was kind of, whatever happens, happens. And so we prayed, and we felt like the Lord was leading us back here to where we were both born and raised, and we both went to college at Eastern Illinois University. God had really impressed it upon my heart, especially that if we couldn't go to the nations, if I couldn't live in Africa with the love of Christ, then I was to do that here on the college campus. So we came back to EIU and we started Chi-Alpha.
So this is a canvas, and a lot of the students that have been in our home at some point or another have come up and written messages and comments in their own language. So we have students from all over. We have India and Pakistan and Panama and Cameroon, China, Mexico, Ecuador. And so we thought it would be fun to be able to remember them, and then years down the road when they come back to see us, we still have their little message on our wall. So this is fun.
So ministry here at EIU has looked a little bit different this last year. Unfortunately, with COVID and all the regulations, we haven't been able to be on campus. But the cool thing was that in the fall of 2020, we were given the keys to a church just maybe 6 blocks from campus, and they said you can use it for anything that you need to use it for. I just launched a ministry in the fall called the English House. So it's a super cool opportunity for international students to come and practice their conversational English. And a lot of times we're gonna play Uno, or we're gonna play spoons, and we're gonna practice English. We're gonna build a relationship with them, and then through that I'm going to meet with them individually throughout the week. And then we also have once a month big events, so maybe a Thanksgiving party here, we had a Christmas party, we have little get-togethers, we have dance parties. Sometimes we have big dinners where we just have people bring food and international food, and students just flock in.
Got the night set up for the international dinner and trivia night, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
We just get to meet students, and I think that's my heart, is just to love students. I know what it's like to live so far away from your friends and family, having lived in Africa, and so knowing that these students are coming over here for sometimes 2, 3, 4 years at a time with no break and not being able to go home, and I just want to love students. I want to be Jesus to them, and I want to be someone who can support them and help them and uplift them and encourage them, but yet speak truth to them. We've been bringing students to church every week for months. And so this is a great opportunity for us to widen that, expand that, and also bridge the gap between the university campus and the community. Because one of the things about Chi-Alpha that we're noticing is that when students are graduating, after they graduate, they don't know how to assimilate into the local church. And so this is a perfect way for us to be able to teach the students and to help them get assimilated into a church before they leave.
In the Assemblies of God, there are various levels of credentialing. There is the certified minister, who shows promise of usefulness in gospel work. There is the licensed minister, who gives evident purpose to devote one's time to gospel work. And there is the ordained minister, who has been engaged in active work in a recognized and proven ministry.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago at District Council, we were up in Chicago. I was licensed, and at that point I think I was kind of in a funk and just thinking, I'm just going to stay right where I'm at. I hadn't started classes for ordination yet, and we were at Topgolf. I ran into Ann Blanchard. The first thing out of her mouth, it wasn't like, "Hi Jen, how are you?" or she's like, "So when are you going to get ordained?" And I looked at her and I said, "Well, I don't really think I am. I think I'm going to stay." And she said, oh no. And she pulls out the chair and she said, sit. She just kind of encouraged me. I know God has called you to this. I know God has given you the vision to do full-time ministry, and that this is what he's calling you to do. Why aren't you not doing that? And for me, a lot of that was fear. Like, can I really do this? Knowing that the Lord has called me, but yet not connecting that. You know that, but do you really know that? And so she just kind of emphasized and encouraged the fact that I can do this, and she knows. And so that was the turning point going into that ceremony and that evening and that week. I'm excited, I'm expectant. I'm expectant to see what God's gonna do, because the journey's not over. So even at the reception for ordination after the service, I was able to encourage a few different men and women to keep pursuing credentials, to keep going, because of such an powerful impact that it had on my life. First thing is the educational aspect of this. After ordination, you've grown as a person, you've grown as a minister, you've learned things that I never would have learned any other place. When I was in my interviews for ordination, I was terrified, but when I went into my interviews, it was one of the most life-giving experiences for me that I've ever had in my entire life. And to have other people sit across the table for me and to recognize that God has a calling on my life for full-time ministry, and to affirm that and to agree with me and to kind of build me up and to speak life over me was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. And I think that is what so many of us need. For those of you maybe hanging out at the certified or the licensed level of credentialing, this is what I would say. I would say don't stop. As you grow in the levels of credentialing, I believe that your influence is going to grow as well. Not only are you going to grow as a person, you're going to grow educationally, but your influence over other people, even opportunities that may come up, all of that is just going to grow exponentially. And I also believe that ordination for me was a really strong spiritual marker, and it's something right up there with the day that I got married, the day that I had my kids. It's one of those days that I'm never going to forget, and one of those things that I needed. That affirmation, looking into the eyes of the presbyters as they're praying for me, knowing that they were on my journey, that they've been a part of my journey, and just knowing, okay, God, this is my commitment. Like, this is it. There's no going back. There's no turning back from what I'm about to do, and I'm dedicating my life to the work of the Lord, to whatever he calls me to do, to wherever he's called me to go. It's almost like it's an outward commitment of what I've surrendered to the Lord, my life and my ministry, and going through that ordination process and just saying, okay, here I am, use me however you want to use me. I think we're good.